Don't text her, don't call her, don't look for her. Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about the importance of not texting a woman, calling her up, going to where you know she's going to be if she already knows how you feel about her. If she already knows how you feel about her, if she already knows that you're into her, if she has already rejected you in some shape or form, so whether that be by breaking up with you, by losing interest in you, by trying to put you in friend zone, you've done enough. She knows how you feel about her, okay? And she's not with you. If she wanted to be with you, she would be. So no amount of you texting her, calling her up, or accidentally bumping into her, or maybe you do genuinely accidentally bump into her, is going to change that fact. So you've done enough. She knows how you feel. So the only thing left to do then is to do nothing. Because if you've already done enough and she already knows how you feel about her, then you've done enough. So the only thing left to do then is the opposite, which is to go into no contact, to essentially disappear from her life as much as you possibly can. I understand that may not be entirely possible if you go to school together, if you're a student still, or if you work together, or maybe you're entangled in a way such as you've both got kids together and you've got shared custody. So it's not always that simple, obviously, as completely disappearing from her life. So if you don't have any entanglements, let's say you don't work together, let's say you don't go to school together, let's say you don't have kids or anything that needs to be finalized in some way, such as like the house or, divorce papers and things like that. If there's nothing like that and it's just a woman that you're just dating, then it's much easier then to apply no contact. It's much easier to disappear from her life and to basically see if she's bluffing, to call her bluff. Because if she does have feelings for you, if you completely disappear from her life and you do no contact, then she will realize at some point, maybe it's today or in a few days, or maybe it's in a few weeks, that you haven't messaged her. If she still has some feelings for you and she wants to genuinely keep that connection going, then she will have to reach out to you because you're no longer talking to her. So if she really loves you, if she really has feelings for you, if she's really attracted to you, and if she's really meant to be in your life and wants to be in your life, she will do what she can to get in contact with you. Trust that. But if she is not meant for you, if she doesn't want to be with you, then you'll just never hear from her again. And I want you to know that both of those situations, both of those scenarios are good for you, because obviously if she still loves and cares about you, she'll just come back, and that's great. Or maybe it's not. It depends on your circumstances. Maybe an ex is an ex for a reason for you, or it's just not a good idea to get back with her. But if you want her to come back and she does, then obviously that's the outcome that you wanted. But it's also a good thing if she doesn't come back, because clearly then she was not meant for you. She doesn't have enough feelings for you. She's not attracted to you enough to want to stay. So therefore now your whole world is now opened up and you can bring in a new woman into your life. So out of the old, in with the new. So both of these situations are good because both of these situations tell you what is meant for you. And if it's her, then she'll come back. If it's not, you're then free then to find a new woman. So if you do still have to see this woman then on a daily basis, or on it doesn't have to be a daily basis, but you have to see her often. Okay, or you just have to see her because you've got kids or you've got divorce papers that need to be sorted out or something like that. Like you go to school, you go to work, something where you still have to see her. So how do you then detach and apply no contact to a woman like that? So what you have to do, if you're at work or you're at school and you still have to see her, the best thing for you to do is not to be cold, not to be mean to her, not to flat out ignore her, because what that does is that shows that her behavior and what she's done has affected you, and you're essentially butthurt about it. Okay? So the best thing to do to show that you're cool, to show that it doesn't matter, to show the most confident, best version of you to her, is to think about who is it in that environment who you have neutral feelings towards. So it could be just a general acquaintance that you have who you don't really talk to that much, but you're still friendly, still say hello. It's just someone who you don't really care about that much. Okay, but you're still friendly to them, you're still nice to them, you're not ignoring them, you're just, saying, hey, how are you? What's up? Good morning, whatever it may be. Think of that as most bland acquaintance that you have in your workplace or at school. And what you want to do is you want to treat her like that person. So you're not overly excited to see her. You're not grumpy and sort of like looking over it all scornful and moody. You just say, you bump into each other and you say, hey, how are you? How's it going? And then you say, have a nice day. And you just have a little conversation, a bit of small talk. Then you walk away. That's how you must treat her. And it's very important that you're the first one to walk away from her. Okay? Because if you're lingering around and you're trying to keep the conversation going because you're still into her, then you're doing too much again. You've fallen back into the habit of over pursuing, trying to do too much. And remember what I've said, if she knows that you like her, you've already done enough. You don't need to do more. In fact, you should do way less. So if you do have to talk to each other, have a quick conversation, make sure it's polite and friendly, make sure that you've got a positive note to whatever you're saying and a positive vibe. And then you say, well, I hope you have a nice day. And then you get on with your day and you walk away. And you do that every single time. You're the one that's cutting the conversation short. Because what this does is that if she still has feelings for you, that means that she's the one that's going to have to pursue you. She's the one that's going to have to chase after you. She's the one that's going to have to come after you. Okay? So that's the best balance that you could find yourself in and place yourself in when it comes to a woman that you're trying to do no contact with, that is still in your physical environment and you can't avoid her completely. So come back to this video to relearn that and to ingrain it. Perhaps you want to watch this video before you go to work or before you go to school so you know how to apply that. So what happens then if, let's say, you're a guy that's watching this and the reason why you can't do no contact completely is because you've got adult entanglements like children, like mortgages. Okay, and you still have to talk to your ex to sort these things out and to plan these things and to arrange schedules and things like that. Well, you want to treat it like a business transaction. Okay, so you don't want to be talking about feelings. You don't want to be talking about your past relationship. If anything is going to be brought up about that, let her be the one to bring it up. Okay, you're going to talk to her as if it's business. Okay, now again, you're still polite and friendly. You're not being mean. You're not being cold, but you're treating her as if she is someone that you actually go to work with. Okay, and let's say you have to pass over information to her. So of course you're still like, hey, how are you? Hope you're okay. How's things? Little bit of conversation, and then you get on to business as usual. Okay, so arranging the schedule of the kids, who's picking up who, or it could be to do with the divorce, whatever it may be. Okay, and then again, once everything is done, the plan has been made, whatever it may be, the business transaction is over, then you cut the conversation short and you walk away. Okay, but you're trying to keep these conversations non-emotional. Okay, you see her as a colleague. Okay, and that's how you see her, someone who you're not going to hang out with after work. You're not really friends, but you're still polite to, you're still nice to, but most of the time you're just getting on with business. Okay, and you're trying to get things sorted and done so you can go and be free and imagine it's like work. Right, you're at work, and then obviously what you really want to be doing is getting to the end of the day so you can relax and go and be with the people you do want to be with. Okay, and you just interact with certain parts of your company, certain people in your work, who you don't really care that much for. You just get on with business because you're just trying to do your job. Okay, that's how you treat her. Okay, you're professional, you're happy, you're being polite and you're being friendly, but you're not overstepping the line into something more personal unless she does. Okay, if she starts bringing up the emotions of how she feels after the breakup and stuff like that, then it's okay for you to reciprocate. Okay, but most of the time it's business as usual. Okay, and even then, when she brings up those conversations, you're still going to try and want to cut the conversation short, because if she's not, because let's say you want to be with her and you want to be back in a relationship with her, if the conversation doesn't lead to her wanting to come back together with you, then you cut the conversation short. Okay, if it doesn't feel like it's leading there and she's just complaining about you or about her life or about the breakup, and she's, there's no sort of resolution being, you could see that is making her want to be with you again, then cut the conversation short and just be like, yeah, you know what, yeah, the breakup sucks, but it's just one of those things, but at least we can move on with our lives and find people that truly, find better relationships for ourselves, and try and end it on a positive note if she's complaining about the breakup and things. And then again, move on with the day. You just cut the conversation short, say have a nice day, or have fun with the kids if you're dropping the kids off, and just leave. Okay? And that's how you should handle a woman who you still have entanglements with, that are not in the foreseeable future ending. And if those do end, let's say, for example, your entanglements have something to do with like the mortgage or to do with divorce, then once that's all done and finalized and it's over and it's finished, then you can do no contact 100%. Okay, so a part of this though, and that we need to discuss, is how to move on, because obviously if you really love this woman and let's say she doesn't chase after you again, she's not pursuing you anymore, how do you then move on? Well, the best way to move on is to, first of all, have some reflection time on what you personally did wrong. Because the worst thing that you could do, and the worst thing that could happen, is you find yourself in the exact same situation with another woman down the line. So what you got to do then is you got to think about what you did wrong, what you did right, what aspects of yourself do you want to bring into a new relationship, and which things do you want to leave out. Okay, now it could be that she was 99% of the fault and you were only 1%, or it could have been that she was 100% in the wrong and you were completely innocent. But if you really take time to think and to reflect, you probably know that there are some things that you probably could have done better. And those are the things that we want to focus on, because we can't focus on her. We can't change her. If she did so many bad things, then, well, that's down to her. We can't change anything that she did, can we? Because that's all down to her. That's down to her initiative, and if she wants to change those things. The only thing we can change then is yourself. How can you change yourself? Because that's the only thing you really have power over here. Okay? And if you change those things and you think about the things that you could have done better, how you could prevent yourself from being in that same situation in the future, that, okay, is how you can give yourself a better future. And it's a good gift that you can give to yourself. Just some time to reflect. How could I do this better next time? How can I make sure that I'm not in the same position again? Because sometimes when we start dating someone new, we ignore red flags. And this is exactly what happened with me when I entered my first relationship, okay? So I was dating a woman who cheated on me. But in the first month of dating her, I was with her for a year, okay? The first month that we were seeing each other, she said to me, "What would you do if I cheated on you?" Now, I remember those words, okay? So obviously some alarm bells in my brain were ringing, thinking, this doesn't quite sound normal, right? Yeah. And guess what happened? She cheated on me multiple times, okay? But I ignored that red flag. By that time, she hadn't cheated on me. At least I don't think so, okay? She may have done. She was a serial cheater, right? But at that point, I didn't know if she cheated on me or not, but I should have known by the way that she said those things, so the way she proposed that question, that there was probably going to be cheating in the future. That wasn't just an innocent question. That was a forecast of the future. She wanted to know how I would react if she behaved that way, because she was going to behave that way. Okay? And I completely ignored that red flag. I allowed myself to run away with my emotions and how much I liked her and how much I was attracted to her and how much fun it was to be around her. And I completely ignored that red flag, even though it was there in the back of my mind, so much so that I still remember her saying that, even now. And that was probably about 12 years ago now, maybe 13. I can't remember exactly, but it was a long time ago, okay? And that red flag is still there. You know, I can still hear her say those words, okay? Because I instinctively knew something was off, okay? And what after that relationship was ended, and I did eventually bite the bullet and just leave her completely without going back to her, because that's something that happened a couple of times. I said to myself, okay, and in some shape or form, I said to myself, I've got to make sure that when I'm dating women and I'm talking to new women, I've got to look out for these red flags, and I got to look out for that red flag because I don't want to end up in the same position again. Okay, so it's, even though it may not sound very romantic, when you go out on a date and you meet new women, you've got to be able to remain somewhat detached so you can vet whether or not this is the right woman for you. Because if she's saying things, she may be hot, she may be beautiful, she may be fun to be around, she may make you laugh. But if she's saying all these things that are sort of like ringing, you know, like alarm bells in your brain, you've got to pay attention to that. And you've got to realize that I've got to rein myself in a little bit and make sure that this woman is right for me. Because yes, she may be beautiful, yes, she may be hot, but is she going to make a good wife? Is she going to make a good girlfriend? Is she saying anything that I'm worried or concerned about? Is she saying things that are making me feel a little bit on edge, a little bit anxious about how this relationship is going to unfold? And if you do that, then I guarantee, right, and you listen to that voice and you manage to stop relationships from forming with those women that are saying these red flags, and you just focus on women who are not giving you any red flags, then I promise you that you're going to have a much healthier relationship. But it all comes from self-reflection, looking at what you did right, what you did wrong, what you could have done better, what you shouldn't have ignored, and going from there, okay? So that's one of the first things that you can do to start moving on from her. Now, another thing that you can do to help this is to find tasks, to find things that you can do, to find goals for yourself that genuinely make you feel amazing, right? So I want you to be able to wake up every day and not dread the day. I want you to be excited about the day. Yeah, you may be going to a 9 to 5 you don't like, perhaps. Okay, but perhaps you've got goals and dreams outside of your career that you're working towards that make you feel inspired, that make you feel ambitious. So you wake up with passion rather than dread. Okay, so listen to some inspirational music, give yourself time to just dream big dreams and imagine what your life would be like if it was absolutely perfect, if you could be your ideal version of you, if you could have the ideal life. Okay, and figure out what those things are and then try to work towards that every single day and keep that passion alive. And each time you feel that dread or whatever it may be about your life, and maybe it's just a certain dislike for your life, then again, listen to that music, listen to that passionate music or inspirational music that really gets you fired up about your life and your goals. Just imagine it, imagine your life, imagine how you want things to be, and take action on that and try and make it reality. Okay, and that's another way that can help you move on, because if you've got other things that you're excited about, enjoying about life, it's much easier then to move on from women that disappear from your life and lose interest in you or dump you or friend zone you, because they're not your whole world. If you make a woman your whole world, then if they lose interest in you, or if they friend zone you, or if they break up with you, then your whole world is going to crumble. Okay, so if you've got other things in your life that you truly enjoy, that you truly got inspiration and passion for, then that helps soften the blow when those things happen. Okay? And of course, the other best way to move on is to find a better woman in every single metric. So a woman that you find more attractive, a woman that's nicer to you, a woman that's kinder to you, a woman that's got who has better prospects in life. Just find a woman who is just way better than that woman that woman that you're on this video about. Okay, the reason why you're watching this video. And if you find a woman like that, you won't even be contemplating that woman anymore. Okay? You will just completely move on easily and effortlessly because you found yourself a woman who is just way more important to you. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.